Well, last week, a national report put the spotlight on Phoebe Putney Health System. ProPublica, an independent nonprofit news operation, produced a 5-part online series titled Sick in a Hospital Town. That report took nearly 6 years to produce.
Since then, we've gotten reaction from both Phoebe Health and the ProPublica reporter behind the series. WALB News 10's Jamie Worsley is in studio with their responses.
This all started during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. ProPublica said it wanted to tell a David versus Goliath story about how Phoebe was managing the crisis, with Albany as one of the biggest COVID hotspots in the country. After being given unprecedented access to the hospital and conducting interviews with Phoebe employees and Albany residents, ProPublica says the focus of their story shifted. Ginger Thompson, who wrote the articles, says she wanted to know why Albany residents were so sick when we have a technologically advanced hospital like Phoebe in our backyard. The series delved into Phoebe's cost and quality of care based largely on government data.
So I spent 5 years going back and forth to Albany, Georgia. I spoke to countless people who both work in the hospital or used to work in the hospital, who live in Albany or used to live in Albany. I worked in lockstep with a crack researcher and fact checker who has a long history and lots of experience in financial reporting. Our story was vetted by numerous editors. It was vetted by numerous lawyers. It was, and all of our findings, all of our major findings were shared with Phoebe Putney. And so with all of that, we feel very confident that our story would stand up to scrutiny. And I think what I've hoped going into this story is that Albany and America will, get the best health care possible, health care that's affordable, health care that's high quality, health care that is responsive to the people who work in it, health care that is accountable to the people that it serves. And so what I hope is that this story triggers a conversation both in Albany and across the country that will lead to changes that make things better.
The articles also recounted the circumstances surrounding the death of Dr. Anthony Parker and the lawsuit that the Parker family filed, which was settled out of court earlier this year. WALB's independent reporting learned that medical professionals reported Dr. Parker developed dangerously low blood pressure during a cardiac ablation procedure. His estate's legal team argued that his anesthesiology team, quote, negligently failed to monitor, manage, and treat his low blood pressure, which, quote, led to a preventable cardiac arrest, significant hypoxic brain damage, and ultimately caused or contributed to his untimely death, end quote. WALB proposed to the Phoebe board that we do an interview with CEO Scott Steiner after the publication to give the health system a chance to respond and offer transparency to the community. We also disclosed our intent to do an interview with ProPublica for balance. Now, Phoebe ultimately declined an on-camera interview but offered us a written statement. It reads in part, quote, "At Phoebe, we welcome accountability and honest feedback, especially from those we care for right here in Southwest Georgia. That's why we launched a series of community listening sessions this year, why we meet regularly with patient and family advisory councils, and why we conduct a community health needs assessment every 3 years. We know we don't get things right 100% of the time, and we value your input to help us continually get better. The ProPublica piece, however, doesn't acknowledge the strides we have made or the many ways Phoebe invests in our community, particularly to improve access to quality care for uninsured and low-income South Georgians." Unlike ProPublica, Phoebe has been an integral part of this community for 115 years, and our commitment to Albany and Southwest Georgia remains unwavering, end quote.
That was Jamie Worsley reporting. We have a link to the full interview with ProPublica reporter Ginger Thompson and the link to Phoebe's new webpage on our website, WALB.com.